Mr. Ibrahim, can you think about this? Are we little anxious? Are we little frustrated on slow process on the COP29 negotiation program, negotiation process? Are we a little bit anxious we are now?
The concern about the negotiation is rising because the LCDs, the least developed countries, they have a demand, and their demand is million for fund and for their development. So they need fund to overcome this climate crisis for adaptation. But what we see in this perspective, in this negotiation sessions from the COP, is that the progress about this negotiation is not that much, because we, the least developing countries, they are getting always always getting hope from any kind of hope from the other side, and this hope is rising day by day, but they couldn't get any kind of promises from them. But we, the least developed countries, they think that we need strong promises for the fund, because climate finance is very much important for this scope. Without fund, without money, the least developed countries couldn't do anything for overcome this climate crisis. So before anything, these least developing countries, they need fund, because they are the affected countries. They are the countries who are fighting with climate crisis, and lots of climate migrants. They lost everything from the natural disasters, from the climate effects. So it is high time to get money for these less developing countries for their development. So I don't think it's the situation of frustration, but it is rising concern among the expert, among the journalists, that maybe we couldn't get any positive or concrete promises from this code, but we have enough time left until 22 November. So I believe that it would be, and we can get any positive vibe from the development countries, that we can get the concrete loss and damage fund and the donor for this fund, and we also can get a grant based solution. Because one thing is important here, that developing countries, they try to give loans to the least developing countries. The least developing countries, they don't want any loan, because they are affected. They are the affected countries. They don't want any loan, because this is not their work. They couldn't accept this, because they need grants without any kind of condition. They need more grants for their inside development. So when you want to give loan to them, it is a new burden for them. So this is very significant from this hope, from this scope. I'm sorry, that the least developed country is looking for a concrete promises from the development countries about climate finance.
In your language linkage, there is some word is the LDC. So in LDC group, there are major some part of the south part and southern part. There is some countries are not entering in this COP now. So if you think there might be a new ally in this LDC group, and might be who are not engaged and not agree on this COP here, so it might be the LDC is more vulnerable now.
It's a bit complicated issues. Some of the LDCs, the least developed countries, the representative not here in this scope. It's a bit complicated here. But what I see, the most thing that the convener of these least development countries, the representative and the leadership from the least developed countries, I hope they will agree with any decision which can bring money which can bring fund from the developing country. If the leadership from the least developing countries, they can bring money from the development countries, as sorry, developed countries, that would be a significant, I think, milestone success from the scope. So if they can acquire money, if they can get money, if they can get fund from the developed countries, if they can get real promises from the developing countries about the money, that would be a significant achievement for the least developing countries. And I believe those countries who are not participating in this, they also agree with this positive initiative, agree with this positive vibe, agree with this rest of the country's decision to get money for their development.
Okay. Now you will conclude with your talking about the finance. That might be in Azerbaijan. It is possible to, if there is no solution and there is no new decision or new promises here, then might be the Azerbaijan team or Azerbaijan COP is now the passing the torch to the others. So it might be a little bit deception here, right?
It seems like that in every COP we got a lot of lot of plan, but we don't get that much implementation. In every COP we take some decisions and we just throw it to the other COP, then other COP. It's a I think I should call this a turmoil process, just roaming around and around and around. So policymakers, especially the powerful countries, those who make decision about the finance, they must need to come forward to solve this turmoil, because they have their power, they have their policies to make any kind of solution which is good for the affected countries, which is good for the rest of the world. So I believe, and it should be, it must be a duty for the developed countries to make a concrete promise, a significant decision about money, about funding, because everybody is waiting for their decision. Everybody is waiting for their policy, what they try to do, what they need to do. This is depend on their own policy. So without forgetting everything, we have to think about the world environment and the world atmosphere. If we want to live this world long, and if we want to live with healthy way, with environment friendly way, we must to agree with in one target, that is this equally live in this world, equally live in this world happily. That's the one thing. So the developed countries, they must agree with that, and they come forward to resolve this turmoil, resolve this indecision, and any kind of obstacle. They can demolish this, they can delete this, and they can come forward with their financial aid, and they can help, really they can help, and they can save this world with their money, with their policy, and with their fund.
Thank you. Thank you for your advice. Thank you.